Listen up. We've all been there. It's 3 p.m. You're stuck in another mind-numbing meeting, and your eyelids are drooping more than you want to admit. You think about grabbing another cup of coffee, but you know it's just going to make you jittery, and you're going to have a crash later on. That, guys, is where mud water comes in. It's like coffee's laid-back cousin, packed with the good stuff. Chai, cacao, lion's mane, chaga, reishi, cordyceps, turmeric, cinnamon, the works. All the energy, none of the shakes. With mud water, you are going to feel focused, energized, and ready for whatever the day throws at you. No crashes, no jitters, and guys, it is totally organic. Non-GMO, vegan, kosher, gluten-free, you name it. I'm talking no sugars, no sweeteners, just that raw, earthy kick that you need. Plus, it won't keep you wired when it's time to wind down. And I've even gotten to the best part. Guys, this is incredibly easy to make. Scoop, stir, drink. You're back in the game. Head over to mudwater.com, grab a starter kit, use the code Chael. That'll save you over 40% and free shipping. Plus, we're going to throw in a rechargeable frother. That's right, over 40% off at mudwater.com. Just use the code Chael. And when they ask, tell them you heard it from the bad guy. Stay sharp, stay steady, and dominate your day with Mudwater. I'm going to tell you what nobody else has told you, that the UFC is trying to get done at 185 pounds. You won't hear this anywhere else. I can't go a step further and tell you it's going to get done. It's very similar to me telling you Pereira and Aspinall are going to fight in Pereira's next fight. It's very similar to that. It's not signed. I'm speaking to what quietly is trying to get done. If it doesn't get done, you will never hear about it. Shara Bullet has called out Israel Adesanya. And you begin to know who's who. And you begin to know where guys stand when you listen to the other guys. Like when you have a rankings committee that tells you some guy is ranked number one, but you read an interview earlier that day and you saw 3 different guys called him out. Okay, that guy's not number one. Because one thing that you will learn about fighters is there is no bigger group of chickens that I have ever personally come across. Like Tom Brady will step on the field with any team on any given Sunday that's on the schedule. He will never sit down and need to renegotiate or go into a training camp or specially prepare or talk about my shoulder doesn't feel good. Or if they change the lineup and they put somebody else in there, there's not going to be a conversation. He's going to step on the field. What a real man would do. And I got to tell you, it pains me that LeBron would do the same thing. It pains me that I've got to turn to these guys as actual tough guys because nobody in MMA will do it, but I want to make a further point. Understanding what wimps fighters truly are is where you really start to find out where a guy's skill's at, okay? You could put a group of fighters in a room and they don't have to work out. They don't have to touch each other. They don't have to thumb wrestle. They don't have to talk. Now, this is literal. If the room, it's got to be proximity where they can all see each other. But if you put them in there for an hour, they can all tell you who's where. They will all tell you that's the baddest dude in the room. That's the next baddest every time. In every classroom that you've ever been in, you've always known who the baddest dude was, and you never saw anybody fight. Now, I'm bringing that to you because I like Bullet. I do like Sharp Bullet. I like his techniques. I like how loose he is. I like his attitude. I like that he steers his own career and knows himself where his vulnerabilities are. I like these things about him. But he's been called out by 5 guys in one day. The biggest chickens that I personally know of, 5 of them have called for him, which means they don't think he's very good. And by the way, they would know. They would be able to look at his skills and know exactly where he's at. Now, I'm sharing this with you because the Bullet did one call out of his own, and it was to Adesanya. And Adesanya said, man, keep your name out of my mouth. Now, I got to tell you, I went back, I looked at the rankings. Adesanya's ranked number 2. I wasn't aware of that. That feels right, by the way. Like, I wouldn't dispute that. I just wasn't aware of that. I would have guessed that he'd slid down maybe to 5. And a lot of that just on the question mark of what's going to happen with Izzy next. Is Izzy going to compete again? Is he going to compete at 85? Is it at 205? Is he going to wait a while? And Izzy is actually ranked in front of Chimaev. Now, Dricus du Plessis, okay? Drekus has been a little confusing for me, and all I have is a tweet, and I now have a second tweet. And it seems as though Drekus would like to fight Chimaev purely for the parody of it. He even said something to that effect. I've already beaten Strickland. What would get me up and get me excited, and I can definitely understand that. Now, there is rules and there is codes. Drekus should not have ever been in the ring with Sean Strickland. They didn't want Drekus in the ring with Sean Strickland. That wasn't a big fight. You guys weren't pushing for it. He wasn't even the guy that was offered the fight. Chimaev was offered the fight. He wasn't there, so we went to the bridesmaid. That's just what happened. And the only reason I say that isn't to insult Drekus, who turned out to be a lot better than we knew he was. I say that because when Sean Strickland gives a guy an opportunity who is not the guy that was supposed to have the opportunity, the code says you return the favor, whether you like the guy or not. The code is bigger than everything. So when Drekus comes out and says, I would rather fight Chimaev, but I'm willing to fight Strickland, I get it. I got to tell you, I get it. I could see where that is just Drekus being open and honest about how he feels inside, and the fact that he had a newness and a parody, something else to add to the record of things go his way. I think he was just being candid. And regardless of where we go or what Drekus wants to do, regardless of that, outside of illness or injury, which disrupts everything, but it will be Drekus versus Sean. But the fight that I told you and I dangled in front of you that I would reveal that the company is going to go for, the one that you don't know, the one that you think Chimaev is going to sit out, you're actually wrong. They're going to try to make a match between Chimaev and Adesanya.